Disclaimer: the content presented in this show is intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of any individuals or organizations mentioned. Statements made about public figures or entities are based on publicly available information and are not intended to harm or defame any person or business. This show relies on fair use of social media posts, which are presented in good faith for the purpose of commentary and criticism. Viewers and listeners are advised to form their own opinions. Back right here on the Circles Off channel. It's part of the Hammered Betting Network and presented as always by Underdog. This is the show where we cover the latest and greatest from gambling Twitter. And because we didn't have a Tuesday show this week, we have the entire week of gambling Twitter content to cover here with the A-Team, myself, Jacob Gramegna, your host once again. In the top right corner, Jeff Nadu. We also have underneath me, Flup No Lied, Chris Dierkes, and we have him back for this week, Joey Knish, back from his date. You said before we went live that the date was a success, so it was worth missing out on the show.
You know what? There you go. Good weekend. Good week for Joey K. The boys filled in admirably. Jason, I like to do some charity, work now and then. So giving Jason, a little bit of FaceTime for an hour feels like it's like going to the soup kitchen and giving somebody, $20 here to go get some a snack. Getting Jason, a show, get him some reps. It felt good.
And I'm guessing by success, you mean your date ended with you getting pegged. It was a nice
yeah, that was exactly right. Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Well, there was a bit of charity work, I'd say, in the last 3 minutes of Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. A couple days late because we record this Thursday evenings, but the New York Knicks absolutely gave away this Game 1 to the Indiana Pacers. Complete choke. NBA teams coming into this game were 0-970 in the playoffs over the last 27 years when trailing by 14 plus points with under 250 left in regulation. Tonight made it the one. The Indiana Pacers came back. Tyrese Halliburton hit what he thought was the game-winning shot at the buzzer, which prompted this Reggie Miller-inspired choke gesture in front of Reggie Miller, who was commentating on the game, which was pretty cool. Ended up being only a 2, but the Indiana Pacers still did win in overtime. So another big comeback from the Pacers, but the Knicks on the wrong side of a comeback this time. John O'Barnes here said, breaking, the New York Knicks reveal a new logo. It's just the Atlanta Falcons logo in different color, in the New York Knicks blue and orange. But as Bomani_Jones points out, brother, they're the Knicks. Their own logo works just fine. Yes, a history of things like this. Nadu, did you watch Game 1? What's your you're not from New York, so what's your stance on the New York Knicks as a franchise?
Well, it's funny. When I was a kid, I used to really I love those John Starks teams when I was a kid. And being in the Philadelphia area, that was kind of a no-no just because I was a Philly guy. But I used to like those teams a lot. I mean, the Knicks are kind of lovable losers. They've not been real good for a while. I actually thought they'd find a way in the previous series to, kind of do what we think they'll do. They haven't been really that good in a long time. Tough start. Bomani Jones doesn't have many good tweets. He's had a pretty bad history of just being really cringy, but that was actually a pretty funny one. I actually had an opinion on some of the stuff I've seen today involving that game last night. I think the Knicks are going to lose ultimately. I just don't think they're a group that they just come across to me as a loser organization, and I think they'll find a way to piss it away.
Yeah, I'm gonna Joey pass post here. So I took the Pacers in the series. I took the Pacers in the game. I actually turned this off with in the fourth quarter. I was like, I'm holding an L here. Turned it off. Didn't see. Just was on my phone. And saw Twitter absolutely blow up when the shot, people oh my God. Flashback, so missed it live. I will say, Halliburton. I would say, won some money, doing good things with the Pacers, all of that. If I was a Knicks fan, or if I'd going up against this guy in a playoff series, he had that poll where he was voted like the most overrated player in the league. I think solely because other players hate him so much because he's like that unlikable as a person. But I don't know, Flup. Did your Knicks did they blow the series with this melt?
Well, unfortunately, I have the Knicks series, and I took the Knicks game one. So I am not a big
playoffs
fan
have not been good for you.
Yeah. The only thing, my saving grace has been the Thunder, but I'm not a fan of Halliburton at all. I really was hoping that we could get some karma when he did the choke emoji, and it didn't end up winning it outright. But Knicks are getting bet right now. I still think they can win the series. Obviously, the Pacers should be and are rightfully favored, but I'm really hoping they can come back. It would be nice to win game 2 and then maybe steal one of the next 2 away games, but we'll see. If I can't take the victory lapping if the Pacers win the East. That would be too brutal.
And by the way, I know Knish just talked about this. I'm going to go the other way. I almost want to see the Knicks lose because the whole after every game acting like they won the title in the streets is so cringy. I mean, enough, dude. Enough. I mean, and we're not allowed to say it because you're almost you're rooting against fandom if you do. And like all those celebrities that don't give a shit about the game until it gets into the playoffs, like Timothy Chalamet. When was the last time he was in New York? I mean, seriously. He lived in New York 20 years ago.
Yeah, there's like a fan card of Nick fan, like where like you've got your, like Spike Lee, who's like going to row, you know what I'm saying? And some of the all time, and then this run has brought out the bandwagon A-listers that just slide in and want to ride the bandwagon.
They're not like Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller's there every game.
Ben Stiller, Tracy Morgan,
yeah,
Busta Rhymes. Fat Joe's kind of corny now, but he's always, some of these guys, Cardi B, when was the last time she was in New York? Seriously.
Did the Pacers fan who got trash thrown at him, did he deserve that? Is that a yay or nay? Because I like, if you're running through the streets with the Pacers jersey after the Knicks clinch.
But are you running through the streets? He's probably going home. He's probably like a transplant, Listen, in a town, Philadelphia is known for this, and as I've gotten older, I've come to agree that it's such goofy, lame behavior. You're gonna have fans of other teams. New York's a city where a lot of people move to. That guy's probably from Bloomington, Indiana, and he's got to evade people trying to assault him to get home. Come on.
Yeah, it's one thing when you're you're almost asking for it, you're egging on the opposition crowd, but. Another thing when you're maybe just going home. I want to go back to Halliburton. I'm actually interested in the comments if you're a fan or not of Tyrese Halliburton, because I thought when that poll came out voting him, I think it was players who voted him the most overrated player in the league. I was pretty stunned because I think Halliburton's fantastic and he's kind of proven that in the playoffs. I actually quite like Tyrese Halliburton. I don't really understand where the hate stems from. Knish, what is it about Halliburton that irks you like this?
He's corny. He's cringe. He's like that guy who does stuff, like he has these things like pre-planned on purpose. He's like, I saw some tweets that he's taken over from Tatum for the corniest player in the league.
He's not taking that title just yet.
I will say though, if that was an actual 3, granted they win the game and all that, but that's like if it was a legit 3. That show they'd be replaying that for like 20 years. The fact he had to go to OT and that, but listen, I'll give him credit for last night. Like that was pretty solid.
I think with the choke gesture, I liked it. I thought he didn't play it cool enough. Like he was kind of sprinting around. You just gotta hold it and relax and chill.
Yeah.
He was like so excited. You're right. That was definitely premeditated. He thought at any point in the series something like that happened, he was gonna bust that out.
Another thing that was weird is Nesmith was the real MVP of the Pacers. 8 for 9 from 3.
Yeah.
That was everyone was giving Halliburton the credit, but I don't know if he deserved it.
Yeah. Well, somebody gave him maybe I don't know what to call this sort of credit, but Jeff Nadu pointed this out to us. This tweet from Polymarket Sports. It's I don't really want to explain it that much, but Nadu, you quoted and said, "What in the fuck is this tweet? Holy shit, the post is unavailable now because Polymarket Sports deleted it. They showcased Tyrese Halliburton's game 1 stats, 31 points, 11 assists, 4 rebounds in the game-tying buzzer beater, but then said, pray for New York, and then posted a photo of Tyrese Halliburton's face, photoshopped, on top of Osama bin Laden and said, the Taliban just bombed New York. This is one of the most in poor taste tweets I think I may have ever seen. Nadu, what was your first reaction to seeing this? This is awful.
Well, first of all, how many shows have we done? Probably around 10. This is the most pathetic tweet we've featured in this show yet. First of all, Osama bin Laden was part of Al-Qaeda, not the Taliban. That's important to understand first. Number two, at what point do we say to ourselves, these views aren't worth what we're going to get from what we're going to do here? Now, again, most of the people that do this are faceless trolls. They get nothing out of doing it. They just do it to be funny. But this is a website that tries to be formidable. I like Polymark. I've never had an issue with them. But, I mean, this is also a guy who is responsible for hundreds of thousands of deaths and perpetrated one of the, probably actually the worst mass casualty event in the history of this country in the same city, just blocks away from where that went on last night. There's just, again, it doesn't surprise me. The internet always goes into this depraved levels of trying to be funny. And a lot of the times, the people that are doing this weren't even born when this happened. I mean, at what point is something off limits with something? I mean, seriously.
I think that you nailed it. It's like, this is a tweet, and I actually think this originated, like the picture, from kind of like a Twitter aggregator account, like the type of like account you would expect to see some like crazy stuff from, not a company that, you know, it'd be like, you wouldn't expect like then, you know, Walmart to pick that up and tweet it out. So I think Polymarket there probably got a little caught up with like the, Twitter, you know, people are making jokes and that. And then that's kind of one of those that like, oh my God, I can't believe this has been sent out from like an actual company that's trying to do not some like rando that's
they're trying to build their brand. This was to try and build their brand. Yeah.
So yeah, that was a rough run. Surprising that I know when they do tweet, like it was up for at least like 30 minutes. Like that's one of those that usually, you know, you might last 3-5 minutes, but I was up there for a minute.
Yeah.
When you become and you want to get into content, you got to play the long game. And I've seen a lot of these young kids today. They're resorting to these wild ways to get views. Just play the long game like Joey Knish, like myself, you know, Pizzola, other people. It'll work. If you're funny and interesting, it'll work. You don't need to resort to this kind of shit. And again, if it was some troll, you know, faceless troll, whatever, we get why they do it. But what was in it for Polymarket here?
I don't know.
5,000 views in 30 minutes. It's not worth it.
Absolutely. Before we go to our next topic, a word from our presenting sponsor, Underdog.
Hey, everyone. We'll get you back to Circle Back Friday edition in just a second. But if you're someone who likes making picks on player performances, Underdog is one of the best platforms out there. The app, it's incredibly easy to use. It's clean, it's fast, and it's just a great all-around experience. Whether you're entering a quick lineup before the game start or you're checking your results live, everything feels smooth and well thought out. You're not scrolling through a million confusing menus or fighting the interface. It's just a smart, well-built product that delivers. And if you haven't signed up yet, now is a great time to do so. You can use promo code CIRCLES. You'll get up to $1,000 in bonus credit as a new customer. Just click the link in the description below. Enter code CIRCLES when you sign up. That's Underdog. It's a great platform, great experience, and a better way to make picks while you watch the games. Now back to Circle Back.
So a large debate sparked across the WNBA for things well beyond basketball. Once again, kind of, I think, an issue developing with the league is that the conversations are not on basketball. Not that it's the fault of the league, but it all stemmed from Caitlin Clark committing a hard foul on Angel Reese. The typical type of play you'd see in a basketball game. Purposely fouling somebody who's bad at shooting free throws so that they take free throws instead of getting a layup. But obviously, this story spun out of control a little bit because there's already pre-existing beef between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. And then, as brought up here by Johnny Midnight, it's the DR says, can you imagine a crybaby Angel Reese missed her free throws and fans booed her unmercifully? WNBA is investigating Indiana fans for cheering after Angel Reese missed her free throws as an act of quote-unquote racism. Again, to me, you know, if the opposition's taking free throws, you're probably just going to boo them in hopes that there's a 1% extra chance they miss that free throw. Jason Whitlock had this to say about it. He said, Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. She hates the one person who might lead the WNBA to profitability. Reese hates the player who has made her rich and famous. This is insanity. Why hate Caitlin Clark? You're nothing without Caitlin Clark. And then there's a long tweet about from Robert Griffin III, which I don't really want to read, but basically Jason Whitlock kind of paraphrased it. RG3 said Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. And like it's very obvious to us. And RG3 goes on about how it's not racism. It's just Angel Reese doesn't like Caitlin Clark. Like this is where this is all coming from. Nadu, I see you kind of nodding along with me here. What's your thought on this?
I can relate to this because there's a person who I've had a long-standing 10+ year issue with, and he hates me. But there's some part of me that says I got to give him some credit for making me relevant on some levels. I've done other things that I'm proud of. But again, there's that point that I have to just accept that we're tied together. For as long as I do stuff, I will always hear that name in my replies. I don't hate him. He hates me. I agree with Whitlock, which I don't say very often. Whitlock's 100% right here. Angel Reese, a lot of the time, is one of these people that constantly pokes the bear, then gets upset when it comes back to them. She brings it on herself a lot of the time. It relates back to a year ago. She made this comment that she was sexualized all the time. But then again, we'd always see her wearing these insane outfits and bring the attention to herself. And she's always bringing the attention to herself. Then when it comes on her negatively and she doesn't want to do it, it's this or that or whatever. Without Caitlin Clark, she'd be just another nobody.
All right. I'm gonna level with you here. This Clark Reese stuff is like crack for me. I love it. Like this is you know what even annoys me is you've got like the purists, the W fans that have been around for a while that are like, oh, just pay attention to the basketball. People like on the other show and like like Bartlett, who I'll see a tweet from that are like just the basketball. This shit I can't get enough. It's like a soap opera. I love the hatred. I love the content. I love that they're like going at each other. My only wish, and it's great, is like if Reese was just a bit better. Like if she was, in that more like top 10 player range, this would be the greatest like sports rivalry we've had in like 15 years. That's going right now. I still love it. It's still great. I wish she would I need to see. I need flagrants. I need content. Like this is the WNBA I want to see.
One of the funniest press conferences I've ever seen is when she's sitting there saying, well, you got to talk about me too. I'm here and I'm one of the reasons this league's popular too. And it's like, well, not really. I mean, but you're right. She does need to be a little bit better because she could kind of fade. But this is the only thing interesting about the WNBA to me. I don't care about actually watching it. No offense.
I've gotten more. I will say, like I was totally out on women's basketball for a long time. I've been a little bit back in, but this I'm eating this up. Like I can't wait to see the next. And I don't even care. Like to me, Angel, like she's got to play it in all the way. Next time she's playing Clark and Clark goes to the rack, I want to throw a ball, like put her down. Like I want to see blood flying.
Bill Laimbeer style.
Yeah, flop. I love this. And you're going to come in here and tell me I should appreciate, the free throw percentage or something.
No, I actually completely agree with you. I really like this. I find it very entertaining. I actually was on Spaces a few days ago saying that the WNBA should play up this. I mean, it's effectively a race war. It's effectively a race war, and it's like,
well, I think that's where it gets taken a bit too far.
No, but
what in the NBA? What head-to-head in the NBA do we have? Like, what's the major complaint? Is that like guys are too friendly now? Everyone's boys. Mm-hmm. Everyone hangs out off the court. No one actually hates each other. This is pure hatred, and it's intoxicating.
The NBA playoffs are going on right now, and this is the most compelling storyline.
This is better.
Let me ask you, Joey. You just talked about your date you had. How do you feel about a 6'3" woman? Are you good with a woman taller than you?
Listen, do we want to do a little Cameron Brink? I mean, I will say, Angel. Listen, Angel. I don't maybe not the face you're looking for.
No, I'm a big. Hey, listen. If you know me, I'm a big Angel guy. I love me some Angel Reese. I don't like her behavior sometimes, but
hey, listen, she's.
But I watch unapologetically Angel or whatever.
Yeah,
I do.
All right, Fluff, we cut you off to go, and we've sidetracked. Keep it rolling.
No, it's okay. I don't get the infatuation with Angel Nadu. I'm not that big of a fan of her, but I do love the rivalry, and I never thought Angel was actually dirty. Like all these Caitlin Clark fans think that she's dirty and everything like that. I think she just
she is. She kind of is.
No, I disagree. I think she just hates Caitlin Clark. She's jealous of her, but she keeps it strictly basketball and will be as aggressive as she can on the basketball court. And it's really good for the WNBA. I wish it didn't go as far to like the race war and people didn't like it so much.
Yeah.
But it does get views, and I think they should play it up because it's really working.
Let me ask you, you guys follow the WNBA way more than I do. Is Angel Reese like a top 20 player?
25 to 30-ish is what I would say. A lot of people will hate on her because she's not very efficient with her scoring, but her offensive rebounding is so off the chart. She might be the greatest offensive rebounder in the WNBA.
So what's her like? What would her like? Not comparing her to the NBA, but what would her like?
Mitchell Robinson probably would be a good a Mitchell Robinson type. But if her free throws were probably a little bit better than Mitchell Robinson, that would be.
She's like poor man's like Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, that's
in a way. People kind of ham it up, but there is a case like the rebounding. A lot of the offensive rebounds because she's missing right at the rim and she's right there to get her own miss.
Well, even if you take that apart, she's still an elite.
No, I agree. It goes the arguments against Angel Reese as a rebounder go way too far. That's part of it, but she also is a spectacular rebounder.
Where do you
which
put
allows her to
Caitlin
get
Clark?
those misses a lot of time.
Caitlin Clark's a top 5 player. You can argue
she was first team All WNBA last year, wasn't she?
Wow.
This is like she's gonna be the greatest player of all time. Like I don't think like to me it's like you already she's on that trajectory of like she's doing things that nobody else is doing. Like she's gonna break the triple double record in like season 2. I don't know. It just she has got the draw and it's so perfect. She has a villain. It's just like I wish that villain was a little bit better, but it's like there is this. I don't know. It's just
you want that like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson dynamic, where they're both the best and they're going at each other.
I was saying
they were friendly off the court, but yeah, there was a rivalry there.
Nafisa Collier from the Lynx, she's like the second best player, right behind Asia Wilson. Similar like play style to Caitlin Clark, where like not really like a big like Asia Wilson, but more like an outside shooter and good at driving and good at distributing. She would be great if she was a rival.
But they have no personality. Nobody knows who these people are. They have no personality. They're just like, Asia Wilson's been like, about top 3 player like MVPs and stuff. Nobody even knows who that is. And it's like, so, if Asia Wilson acted like Angel Reese, then you'd have like, yes, you would have that, type of like, okay, we're going to go.
I bet you this though. Angel Reese makes more money than all of them.
I'm sure she's doing a lot better, especially like off the court stuff. And whatever.
It's kind of like the Shadur Sanders of the WNBA.
Well, speaking
like he'll make way more money than most people in the NFL. I mean,
still, I was gonna say, speaking of salaries here, this kind of ties into the next topic a little bit. Still on Caitlin Clark, but Count Domoni points out here. Massively plus EV for Dave Portnoy to tweet out that Caitlin Clark triple-double slip pre-game. She very likely heard about it and in a blowout situation which materialized would be extra motivated to hit it, particularly with him in the building. And on the salary stuff, John Metler says that Dave Portnoy just won 4x Caitlin Clark's salary for the whole season on this bet, and Portnoy showed tickets to Ticket. $25,000 to win $350,000 on Caitlin Clark to win a triple-double on DraftKings. Kind of rude, but an unfortunate reality. But Joey Knish, you said this in a tweet. Just had a conversation an hour ago with somebody about how DK won't take more than $250 from anybody with a pulse at any location these days. But good to see the DraftKings partner VIP limits are still intact. Yes. What I wanted to kind of ask, do you guys actually think a player like Caitlin Clark would be aware, first of all, of a Dave Portnoy bet slip pregame, and then in the game think, okay, I'm going to try and get a triple-double? Like, Do you think that's actually something that could cross her mind? Because I don't really think so.
I mean, who really goes to them games? I mean, he's a pretty big deal.
People will pay. Caitlin Clark's a popular figure. Like, people go anyways.
So one, they have a pre-existing relationship. Like, she does some stuff with Barstool. She's known pretty well. I think he was talking to her pregame. Like, he was there early. He had the floor seats. I think they probably went over and said something. My guess now, do I think she went out and got the triple-double for that? No. But I think when she was one rebound away, as Count kind of alluded to, that I'm pretty sure either word got to her or she knew, like, I need one more rebound for a triple-double, and then can go out and get it. That, to me,
anybody does that. It doesn't matter if there's somebody with a bet court side. Like, any basketball player is a rebound away.
You want to argue that side of it where, like, she just wanted to get the triple-double anyway? That's fair. To make Portnoy money? I don't know, but...
Yeah.
Come on, guys. This is ridiculous. I mean, is everyone a conspiracy theory? You just said that she might break the triple-double record in year 2. That means triple-doubles are very, very rare. And getting one rebound is pretty easy to do in the WNBA. So even if you're up, rather than resting, she should go out and get it. And I don't think it would matter at all if Portnoy had $0 or about $1 million on it. I don't think and also, for what it's worth, the 4X salary thing was also ridiculous. She probably makes mid-7 figures a year in advertisements. She also has a $28 million Nike shoe deal.
I mean,
he doesn't give a fuck about
her just talking her WNBA.
Yeah, he's talking WNBA salary. You're right. She would make a lot more money, a lot more than just her WNBA salary. You're right.
Yeah. I would almost guarantee, that he told her about this bet. I guarantee.
I don't think so.
Listen, I've been around him hold on. I've been around him many times gambling. I mean, that's his whole shtick. I mean, a lot of the time at games like this, I'm sure they were talking, hey, I got a 25,000. I need a triple. It's not like he said, hey, go get it for me, but I'm sure she knew about it. Did it influence her? No. What'd she get out of it?
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, maybe she knows about it, but I don't think it influences her 1%.
I don't think.
Okay, I think that's fair. That's fair. I don't think she cared. I just think, basketball player wants a triple double and is really close. So therefore,
also, let me put a bow on this because we're not going to. But they're not a sponsor of the show, so and they probably won't ever be. I'm fucking sick of DraftKings. Like, I've had enough. Like, I don't care if Moretto's squirming right now because we'll never get it. I can't. They don't take a bet anywhere at any location anymore. It's impossible to get like anything done, and they'll give people like this, the DK partners and that, to look like they're a real book. I'm sorry. It's getting real.
I'm just going to say skill issue.
It's gotten real Mickey Mouse over there. I'm telling you, Fluff, and I'm not happy about it. And they still want to, open some markets and think they're relevant. So, hey, I'm a FanDuel guy through and through.
Great segue into our next topic because it's all about limits. It's in particular about the limits by the Wyoming Gaming Commission. At FairPlay.gov says Wyoming opens and shuts its investigation on limited bettors, citing three examples of cheating by limiting bettors and inferring there are several more. They throw shade at Spanky and at Bettor's Voice here too, guessing the agent did not consult with them about what sportsbooks told them. Obviously, fired up some debates. Captain Jack Andrews, as the CEO of Unabated, high up with Unabated, anyways, says he was very upset about this. Says, seriously, folks, read this. We're powerless. These guys are so in the pocket of operators. Time to stop playing nice. Regulators need to be put out of business. And Alex at Bartlett157 says, reminder that if you're a profitable bettor, your mandatory minimums are likely against your best interests. Also, 1% of bettors being limited seems fair. That was something that was mentioned within the article posted by, or not article, but in the report by the Wyoming Gaming Commission. But Alex says, we live in an echo chamber, and for as dumb as gambling Twitter has gotten, most are still more advanced than the average bettor. And then finally, Captain Jack Andrews continues, says, how you view the topic of limiting sharp bettors is similar to the topic of responsible gambling. It's a problem that affects a small percentage of bettors. Cynics say they brought this on themselves. Sympathizers say more protections should be in place. So he's basically comparing limiting sharp bettors to the topic of responsible gaming, which Kirk Evans was very upset about. He's on the Tuesday show. He says equating responsible gaming and limiting is a total false equivalency. The harm of limiting sharp bettors is that they can't earn from betting, something that they are not owed. The harm of no responsible gaming is an addiction that ruins people's lives. Please stop with this nonsense. Because at the end, Captain Jack Andrews says, if you're against fundamental fairness, you should be in favor of unfettered corporation profiteering. Let's start with you, Flup, on this one. How do you feel about these conversations around limiting? Because Kirk Evans points out, and he said it before, that you're not owed anything by the sports book, and in a way, like, you need people to lose in order to be able to win as a sports bettor. So without these limits in place, sports would get crushed, and this industry wouldn't exist. What's your take on all this?
Yeah, so Kirk doesn't have a lot of great takes, but he nailed this one. He was spot on. You are not owed limits. We're not, as sharp bettors, as winning bettors, we're not owed survival or ways to earn. You got to figure out ways around it. The companies are out here trying to maximize their profits. I have no issue with them limiting. Additionally, to equate responsible gambling with limiting is ludicrous. What I've seen some of these sports books do to people with clear responsible gambling issues and how they shove it under the rug is ludicrous and criminal. To say that what they're doing by limiting bettors is just as bad is an insult to the real problems and the real issues that underlie. There needs to be a more seriousness with responsible gambling. Some of these books can clearly identify when someone has a real issue and a real addiction, and they let them bet everything and they let them go broke. That I have an issue. I have no problem criticizing. But the limits, I mean, what are we doing here? And I also agree with Alex completely. If we have universal limits, that will hurt. I know it'll hurt my earn for sure. It won't hurt every sharp's earn. Some sharp's earns will get better. So it's kind of key to see who's backing which. But I know for myself, and I'm guessing for you as well, Joey, it would hurt both of our earns.
Yeah, I think that big picture, what happens then it takes away a ton of markets. I think is most books' reaction there, where we're not going to offer, a lot of like the major books out there offer 1,000 different markets on a certain game or something. If you got universal limit, like I'm not offering over under turnovers over SGP 8,000 different ways if I got to give universal limits. So I think that's a big problem. The only credit I will get is, I will say, in the most gaming interactions I've had with gaming, or people I've seen that I've known have dealt with gaming, these people have absolutely no idea. This guy, at least, one, he knows who Spanky is. He seemed to at least have a clue of what he was talking about and give some response. Do I think it's over? I don't. I guess I'm kind of with you, Flup. Like the whole bettor's voice thing, I don't know if the core result is really, one, if it's even realistically obtainable, or two, if it adds any benefit to and that's not to take away. I know those guys, they care about the industry, they've been in a long time and all that, but this just seems like I don't. You're kind of yelling at clouds. Like the operators have the power, they have the lobbyists on the control, they've got the commit. Like, I just don't see this ever like having any impact whatsoever, like any tangible, realistic impact.
Yeah, and we should really be focused on is the issues that like Plus EV Analytics, what he had to go through with Caesars. Yes. That is criminal, and that should be fought for, because that is just Caesars stealing. There's no other way.
Yes.
That everyone should back him. It doesn't matter that he bet in an insignificant amount of money. That is theft, and that should have.
Or what that guy who the kid something Rusty or Tommy maybe that went through and got all his kiosk stuff voided. That to me is much worse than taking it. It's almost like if you had a called Bettor's Voice was a firm, and they would handle these on a case by case basis around when books actually get out of line, as opposed to this universal limits stance. Well,
we'll move on to our next topic here in just a second. Let's hear a word from one of our sponsors here. Edge Boost. Ever had your deposit blocked right before a big bet? Ever needed cash at 2 a.m. for another shot at the tables, but you hit your ATM limit? Listen, I've had experiences like this, so I'm sure you have had them as well. You never know when you're going to get that message about a big edge somewhere. You've got to fill your account quickly before it evaporates, and you just can't get that money in there in time. Your bank blocks your deposit. Maybe you get the deposit through, but it takes 30 minutes for that deposit to process, and all of a sudden, you can't get down on that huge edge that you wanted. Well, that situation arises no more with Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors. Edge Boost gives you fast, reliable access to your funds, making it easier to move money when and where you need it, without the delays that can come with traditional banks. For you high rollers, you can move up to $250,000 a day on your Edge Boost Visa debit card with unlimited withdrawals. This works 24/7 for instant deposits. Never wait for a wire to clear again. It gets better. Every time you deposit into qualified gambling accounts, you earn cash back rewards up to 0.5%. All this for no usage fees and no minimum balance. Edge Boost is a debit account that makes it easy to get started with no credit checks, no minimum balance, and no usage fees. Simply verify your identity and you're ready to go. Finally, Edge Boost is a suite of responsible gambling tools to help you manage your bankroll and make informed decisions. What are you waiting for? Go to www.edgeboost.bet. That's www.edgeboost.bet, or just go to the link in the description and sign up to Edge Boost today. Let's circle back to you, everybody. We're going to be reading a few comments from the previous episode, as always. If you do find something interesting or something you disagree with, or you just kind of want to get any of your thoughts out there, make sure you comment something down below, and we feature some of the best ones in the next week's episode. The first one comes from @ZRG323, says, only a Canadian would think someone saying this is ridiculous is being overly rude. This is in reaction to last week we covered the BetMGM customer service, where there was a bettor who was upset about how the customer service handled it, which I thought they handled it as a Canadian. I thought they handled the customer service was just doing their job, and then the other person got upset with them just doing their job, and they gave that attitude back to the customer. Kind of a week later here, but Knish, did you have a chance to look on it? Like, what were your thoughts? Who did you think was on the right side of that?
I love, and I know this can't be the way it is. I love when customer service people shove it back at like a customer.
Thank you.
Like I absolutely love, and I know sometimes, I love when customer service agent is just in like YOLO mode where it's like, I hate this job, I don't care, I'm just going to give it back to you. I know from a career standpoint, it's probably not the smart way to play it, but
it's not. I mean, respectfully, I don't think anybody hopes to build a career in customer service. That's just kind of a pay the bills sort of job, I would think.
I mean, I'll agree here. I spoke to an IRS agent. I was on the hold for like an hour and a half. This guy comes on the phone and he's literally telling me, hey, do this, do that, you'll be fine. Like, I like when they're like a little bit more personable. They're willing to like give you a loophole, or, because again, most times, at least in America, we're not even talking, like there's people in other countries. I like the personable, even if they're a little rude.
Yeah.
Next comment, Flup. You're the target of 2 comments here, by the way. First of which by Rob_Pizzola says, Flup down so bad from Cavs that it looks like he sold the Victorian mansion and moved into Madame Tussauds. You're back in the Victorian mansion today, but what's the story on that?
Yeah, so that's related. I was able to move back because the Thunder won, so I can afford it. But in all seriousness, this is just all my wife. My wife works a 9 to 5, and she needs the desk here. And she was running a little bit late, so I got as Nadu had pointed out, she wears the pants in the relationship. So I got booted back to our bedroom, and it looks a little bit shittier there. So that's all it is.
Next one, I love this sequence of comments here from @JWD2592. He really goes through a journey here. So timestamps 5:59, classic example of someone who thinks they know a lot but really couldn't know less. Flup won one Circa Survivor and it got to his head. Enjoy that Cavs and Celtics loss. That was in reaction to you saying the lottery was not rigged, essentially. But then further down the episode, he says, with that being said, Flup with an absolute, I guess, dart or something, target, whatever it is, at 24-10. This was bullseye. You commenting. Okay, bullseye. That's it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Absolute
Canadian
bullseye.
lingo again.
Says this was when you said D-Vig against Pinnacle. The person was D-Vig against Pinnacle and is in a downswing and is upset about it. Then gets further into the episode and says, Flup with another bullseye at 52-34 and 53-10. This is when you were commenting on Jay Far Too Nice, who you said had an edge and lost it. So started the episode, didn't like you, but the further they got, hey, this guy might be growing on me. How do you feel about this?
Well, he had another great comment, which is like, challenge, Flep not grin for 5 minutes, Mission Impossible. And I was watching over the episode again, and I completely agree with him there. I think everything he said is pretty fair. I mean, I have some good takes, I have some bad takes. That I hope you don't judge me on my, numerous bad takes, and just look at the overall picture.
All right, let's get to the next segment here. Okay, I told them before the show started, but I'll let the viewers know here. I'm going to absolutely dominate the dialogue of this segment because it centers largely around me, but is once again in relation to Matt Zylbert. He's been at the forefront of some drama recently, and I have been getting just constant shit from him on Twitter, so I need to say my piece here. If you don't know who Matt Zylbert is, we've covered him a lot on this show, but he has a presence on gambling Twitter, not for being a gambler. That's his claim to fame, we'll call it, where Zylbert really has made his reputation is in his constant, unprompted, obsessive harassment of other people on the app, constantly appearing in their mentions without reason. Like, for example, early this year, he tweeted at Eric Eager, asked him what his documented record was for the season. Eric Eager, who is the VP of analytics with the Carolina Panthers. What the hell is he doing? And then in these recent weeks, he's been the source of drama in many ways. Some of it maybe not his fault, but a lot of it absolutely is his fault. And recently, as I said, I've been on the end of the relentless and obsessive barrage of online targeting from Matt Zylbert for criticizing him on this show for his behavior and tactics online, just like this. And sure, in retaliation to this show going out, the replies are fair because he disagrees with me. But to reply like that under this dumb photo of me eating spaghetti, this is like I lost a bet on the Tuesday show. I had to post a GRP win style selfie with food. I ended up doing it with crab gravy, which Jeff Nadu correctly pointed out, gravy meant tomato sauce. So I made spaghetti and put it on. And he was going at me under this tweet. He said, "Hey, Jacob the Giant, any comment on the latest 2-0 day and 64% season? 64% season, 64% season, 64% season. Hashtag circle back, hashtag return fire, hashtag chopping block," and then CC'd and tagged all of you guys and everybody on the Tuesday crew as well. Yeah, this was really dumb. According to him, in many ways, I lie on the show about him and fail to acknowledge the facts. So let me take more time here to acknowledge the facts. What he covets the most is his documented record. People use their documented record as a source of credibility, but for Zylbert, it is the opposite. Fact, he has literally omitted an entire season from his MLB betting from his documented record because of how bad of a season it was. He literally just does not count it. If you go to his Twitter bio, he will have like 2013 to 2019, and then, or it's like 2013 to 2020, then no 2021, and then 2022 to 2024. He's completely omitted it from his record. How can it be your documented record when you take it a full season? Another fact, when giving out picks, he often gives out these picks at prices that do not exist to make his record look better, including, for example, the article which was alleged to have been edited to provide a more favorable result. Another fact, an article he posted on Deadspin was edited after the outcome of a game. Factually proven, the article was edited after midnight, after the game was completed. And quickly on Deadspin, another fact, he got fired by them and pretends he wasn't. I'll subjectively guess it's because they were sick of his bullshit and how bad it made the company look. But if Deadspin thinks you're making their company look bad, you must be a really special case, because it takes some doing to make Deadspin look even worse than they already do in 2025. Now, on the article that was edited, I'll be honest, we cannot 100% confirm it as a fact that it was edited to change the pick to give him a more favorable result. He had an under bet which he got crushed on, but the game got rained out. It soared over, but since it got rained out in the 9th inning, some books would void it and some wouldn't. He had placed his bet at a book that would not void it and would treat it as a loss because the outcome had already been identified that it had gone over. But the article was edited, and we have a lot of proof to say so. It was edited to a book that would give him a push. And also, it was edited to a price that did not exist when the article came out. Again, though, we are not 1,000% certain on this. We have been able, I would say, to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, especially because he is unwilling to provide evidence that it wasn't edited. Speaking of proven beyond a reasonable doubt, that's a terminology he's gotten really used to lately, because another fact, Matt Zylbert is on trial for stalking in the 4th degree. Now, subjectively, to me, it's no surprise he's facing such a charge. Like I mentioned, he has a trend of constant obsessive harassment of people online, and it would not surprise me if he brought this behavior in real life. That's just my opinion. We'll have to wait and see on the outcome of the case. Now, this is where we actually get to the segment here. I know I'm talking a lot, but he's been spamming my public mentions. He has been spamming Rob Pizzola's DMs behind the scenes, saying he will not stop unless I start telling the truth. So here's all the truth. The only thing he believes gives him any credibility is his picks and documented record, which we have showcased many times, is full of shit. And then let's go back to the pasta photo now, because this is where it got really good in the last week. He doesn't follow me anymore. I never followed him, but he doesn't follow me anymore. So 2 things piqued my curiosity about this, because this is where it turned into a fatal mistake, this targeting to me. I always wondered how he was able to so quickly reply to so many of my tweets, even though he doesn't follow me. Because I would tweet, and then minutes later, he would reply with same old bullshit like this. And I was wondering, if he doesn't follow me, how is he able to do this? Is he constantly searching my profile? Then there was another thing that was off to me. Nobody likes Zylbert. Nobody likes him. He has name in the space because of how much people hate him, or because they think it's funny how unaware he is that he is the butt of the joke in everything that he does. So in the long thread of replies that would ensue under my tweets, many people would have come to my defense, which I appreciate from you guys, but he had a lot of tweets in the reply threads. I don't really engage him, but like I said last week, how can I use logic to talk to somebody who doesn't use logic to begin with? It's just a complete waste of time. But I noticed in the replies that there's so many tweets that had 3 or 4 likes, and I thought, who the fuck is liking this stuff? That's when the big mistake happened. So I'll read out the tweet here. He said, on a reply to somebody, he said, "Sure, bud, you're one of the many countless anonymous loser trolls in here that follow my plays every day. And would you look at that, another 2-0 day, another winning streak, another excellent week, another excellent month, and another excellent season ongoing. Keep sucking it." The problem was, I mean, this seems like a pretty on-brand Zylbert reply. Same language, same tone, same everything. But the problem was, this was tweeted by Dave D at Doozer1145 and then quickly deleted. And then right after that, this account was made private. So that's when it all came together. Zylbert had exposed his burner. He's been
that account's
burners.
Also deleted, by the way.
What's that?
That account's been removed from Twitter.
Yeah, it got deleted right away. Thankfully, in my mentions, it stayed, so I was able to screenshot it because I figured it out right away. He's using burners to follow me and notify him when I tweet, and he was so excited to tell me about his made-up bullshit MLB record under a fucking photo of me eating spaghetti that he forgot to switch accounts. And I was able to screenshot it, thankfully, to prove it. The Zylbert content's tired. I'm sorry I've talked a lot here, but I had to lay it all out because I'm so sick of this saga. Hopefully I don't have to discuss it anymore because it's gone. We've done too much of this, but I can't wait now for the obsessive harassment that I mentioned after this goes up, because that's the only thing he's actually good at doing. So sorry guys, I talked a lot there, but on the Zylbert saga here. Fake accounts. This has got to be a pretty bad look.
We also did find that, didn't he have an account on the comment section on these videos of Matt Zylbert super?
I don't know. It could be that I will concede might be somebody who's pretending to be Zylbert.
Well, here's what I'll say, and he might not be happy with me either after this. I'm done with this guy. I unfollowed him. I've had it. I'm so tired of this. the constant. Look, I can't wait for him to go on a losing streak so he can explain how he's not got this great record anymore. You're just a constant calling people little dude and like trying to like one up people. I really had an issue with some of his behavior on the Elf Spaces where he was just come on with some big news and he's always touting this big news bullshit. And I'm going to tell you right now, he is getting money out of Elf. I know that. I know he is. That little scoundrel is getting money because he thinks he's big enough to charge for appearances. And for whatever reason, Elf still pays him. This latest little stunt by him with this fake account, I'm done with him. I've had it. See you later.
Well, it all goes back to who started this saga again. And it was the CEO of the Hammer, Rob Pizzola, bringing Zylbo back from the grave and then standing by him like you're like a favorite son.
He just wants what's best for the industry at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, that's all. That's it. Just wanted to clean up the industry documented record. It's all legit. # free Zylbo. I don't know. Some people are saying Rob paid for his lawyer. Rob's been at some of the courtroom cases on his time. I can't confirm or deny that. I just know that he's been a Zylbo guy through and through, and I hope it doesn't cause any problems between you two, you and Rob going forward, that he's always been in his corner.
Hey, Rob is starting to get some shit from Zylbert as well. And first, Rob will be unhappy about this being said right now.
Well, the result of his court case is next week, by the way. He better hope that it goes favorable for him because he is not going to hear the end of it if it doesn't.
Like I said, I don't know what's going to happen, but it wasn't a surprise when I got sent that DM showcasing that screenshot. Anyways, Rob's not going to be happy with this segment, what Knish just said. Rob was also very unhappy with Zylbert, so I won't dive in because I think Tuesday, Rob is going to have a lot to say about Zylbert. We'll see.
I just want to add... I used to be like thinking Zylbert was like whatever. Like I didn't really care too much. I thought he was a little weird or out there, but I thought some of the bullying on Zylbert was overboard. But now I agree with you, Nadu. I had to mute him. This is brutal. This is getting. I can't stand every post that he tweets about the circle back or the Hammer. I get tagged in now. I don't care anymore. I'm over with it.
That's
this is stupid.
Yeah, I thought I was over it. Evidently, I wasn't because this was too good. It was the same day the Leafs lost Game 7, so it really softened the blow. I was in a really shit mood because the Leafs lost, but then I got this gift of the.
He is also it just never stops with like he always wants to talk about himself until something happens to him he doesn't want to talk about, and he's a lot like another moron we're going to talk about here in a second. They're never wrong. They never do anything bad. They're all just being ganged up on. I've had it with some of these guys.
All right, enough on him. Let's move on. We have Kelly in Vegas. A lot of people are talking about her documented betting records, including GRP, who said, no need, she's going to be making her picks on Bet Sweats Weekly. I'll be documenting her picks in my notebook. Kelly in Vegas quote tweets it and says, hey, George, you can just follow me on Pikkit Sports. No need to overcomplicate things. So Dick_Johnson 696 says your Pikkit wins at 45% and you're down 20 units. So Kelly showcases, hey, how about this? Her 2025 record, she's up 25 units, 10% ROI. But SpinSplinter correctly reports that the public Pikkit going back to August 29th, 2024 is a documented record of 149, 169, and 2, 45.48% win rate, which was pointed out correctly by Dick Johnson. And she is down 17.9 units, so she just went to a shorter sample size to help her out. On this topic, a lot of people were drumming up a bit of controversy about it because they're making fun of her bad record. And some people were saying, well, at least she's sharing this record publicly, but doing it on Pikkit, like, my God, I've seen people who track on Pikkit who use some very malicious tactics to make themselves look a lot better. But let's start with you, Flup. What were your take on all this?
I like to pass it to Nadu. I think he has some. I know he loves when women talk sports and gambling, so I'd love to see what he has to say first.
Well, listen, I've had a fair deal of love and hate with Kelly. Right now I have no issue with Kelly. I actually think she's one of the more tolerable women. She has been doing this a long time. I'll give her that. She's kind of an OG, at least in the woman's world. And she's probably the only person I can put up with that does talk sports. This is kind of a rough look, I think. If you're going to track, is it easy to show a record when you had a bad football season or whatever? No, but you got to do it. It's almost like this year. I had a great season until the tournament came, and I was horrific. So it is what it is. It wasn't a great look. And one thing we'll also realize, Kelly should know, she's been on Twitter a long time. People are going to figure this out. Okay, you're going to have the spin influencers and the GRPs. I will say I'm kind of done with GRP as well. I've kind of been tired of this shtick as well. It went on a little too long. But yeah, it wasn't a good look for Kelly.
So how did she just show the public facing record? How did spin influencers see?
No. So I'm not suggesting I'm not making a claim she's hiding stuff in the record. I'm saying on Pikkit, you can do that. Pikkit is not the be all end all of tracking.
But that screenshot you have of being up plus 25 units.
She showed 2025.
This is her 2025 record.
Oh, I'm with you.
But her all-time record on Pikkit, going back to August 29th, 2024, is correctly reported as down 18 units, 45% win rate. I'm not suggesting she's hiding plays. I am saying you can hide plays on Pikkit. Let's say you bet it for a friend. Let's say you lost a bet, but maybe your friend, you bet it on their behalf. You're able to do that on Pikkit. You're able to say, bet this for a friend, so it doesn't count towards your own record. So, yes,
I didn't even know you could do that. That's ridiculous. What the hell?
Yeah, that's weird.
There was back in the BetStamp days, there was an individual who had a record on BetStamp who was losing very much on their publicly tracked bets, which, by the way, you cannot edit those on BetStamp. Like, you make a verified bet, that's it. And asked us behind the scenes to delete some of the plays, which we obviously refused to do, and then decided to leave BetStamp because there was an issue with the app and our tracking on Pikkit. We'll never know.
I just want to say I can't trust. I know BetStamp's very reputable, but I can't trust anything over GRP's notebook. That has to be the gold standard of tracking.
It's in pen. Like, what is he going to do? Erase it? Or is he going to cross it out?
Exactly. That is
it's there forever.
That's the gold standard of tracking. But what I don't understand is these content creators like Kelly in Vegas want to just pull a trend. Just own the fact that you're losing. If you want to pretend to be an expert, you got to have expert results. Trent is fully embracing the fact that he's losing, and no one seems to care, and his following continues to grow.
And he's like one of the most popular content creators in the space.
Exactly. Look, she's a woman, which already gives her a massive edge up. Why not just own the fact that you're losing?
This happens far too much in this business, and these people wonder why their product slowly declines. And this goes on all over the place, whether it's lying about your record or I'm somewhat in the prison genre. I interview a lot of those people. There'll be guys that come on and say they did this and they did that, and then we find out they didn't do that. Like, it completely destroys any product that you have. I agree with you, Flub, wholeheartedly. People don't care. This is gambling. The only people that are going to care that you lose, these fucking idiots that we don't care what they think anyway. I don't get it. This is a bad look for Kelly, and I think she probably knows that now. But the one thing I will say on GRP, I mean, do we really trust him taking records of a woman's picks? As soon as Kelly says something good to him, like, hey, GRP,
it's in the notebook. He can't cross it out in the notebook. If he writes down the bet, that's
when
the
it
bet.
comes to women, he cannot be trusted. He has said far weird things.
Well, here's an example. He said Kelly in Vegas should go back to being a bottle service waitress. At least that's an honest profession, unlike those picks that the wager talk pushes. So I agree with you, George. Very large blemish on him as an individual is his treatment of women in this space. So
attractive.
I do agree.
Yeah.
Unless it's who did he? Was it Amanda Vance? He was trying to get to have cinnamon apple pancakes with him.
That was brutal.
Was it like 10 in the morning? He's tweeting, "I wish you were having the pancakes with me right now." Oh boy! All right, let's move on. Last full scale segment on the show today is about man of the library. Nadu alluded to this earlier, but the real facts, prominent in the sports gambling space online, said at approximately the 4-hour and 41-minute mark of this episode, man of the library is confronted about $3,000 that he owes to Tez doesn't. Library makes lame excuse after lame excuse as to why he doesn't owe the money, but the evidence is crystal clear that Tez was stiffed by Library. Below is the documentation verifying the wagers made by Tez on behalf of Library. Since they lost, Library has refused to pay. Listen for yourself and weigh in. If you hear anything you think justifies Library's position, please let me know and I will address it. In the meantime, I suggest that Library pays the $3K and tries to salvage what is left of his reputation, which I personally would say there's nothing left to salvage. But here are some of the screenshots. These two were posted by Fats, but in the reply, there was this one here, which showcase Man of the Library acknowledging the fact that he owes this money. He says, need some time, I'll pay soon, and the rest by the 1st, May 1st. I really did overextend and lost a lot on that one. Honestly, I'm 40K in the hole still. And then there's this screenshot that says, hey, bro, can I get the rest of that money today? Because it's May 1st, the day that Library himself said he would pay. And Library says no, and then blocks him.
That's a wild response. No.
Just no, and then blocks him. Yeah, no, dude, you take off on this one.
Well, listen, this guy, I'm gonna say it now, is the most vile guy in gambling Twitter. There's nobody below this guy. He is at the level of, I don't even want to talk about. It also further shows us he's broke. I mean, we talked about it weeks ago with the $1,500 fight thing. Like, I mean, not that we didn't know it, but I at least thought maybe there were times where he just maybe said he bet a little bit less than he did or whatever. He's straight up broke. Talking about the first, the only people that talk about getting money on the first are fucking Social Security recipients. When I used to work at the bank, everybody on the first came in, and we didn't see him for the rest of the month until that $757 came in. That's who worries about money on the first, man of the library. Fucking Social Security recipients that haven't saved any motherfucking money. Number two, this guy is a professional shitbag at the level of everything he does, he has to wiggle his way out of it somehow. We have proof beyond a reasonable doubt. He admitted to it multiple times. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know. That's not me. That's somebody else. This is another guy I'm done with. Anybody that platforms this guy should be thrown in with him. Because you know what's up with him. It's not once. It's not twice. It's like 10 times now in the last 3 months. Someone has come out of the woodwork and says he owes the money. And then he sits there in these spaces, and if he's not talking, he's putting these emojis up. Everybody's against him. We're just talking about it because we need shit to talk about. Man of the library, you're a fucking loser. Nobody needs you for shit. We don't need you. I don't need you. Knish don't need you. Flop don't need you. Neither does Jacob. Nobody needs you. We just like to talk about your fucking bullshit time and time again. Fuck you and the fucking horse you rode in on, motherfucker.
Is this different than the 3K debt ish that Storm and his other
No, it's totally different.
Another person. Oh my God.
Who, by the way, is a friend of his. This guy's like supposedly a close friend of his.
Listen, the only thing I think you nailed it. The only thing I'll add is if you are like getting a bet, first of all, any bet that Man of the Library is going to send you has no edge. There is no edge. This idiot's not going to know anything. People are like, oh, it's UFC origination. No, none of that. The only thing I'll take a little grievance with is if you're getting down a bet for Man of the Library, like vouching for him, thinking he's going to pay. I mean, what needs to be said or proven at this point? The guy's been doing this for like a decade or plus or something like that. Yeah, I wouldn't loan this guy $1. If he was up there, I wouldn't give him $1 and think he would pay me back that. But he's got no moral compass, any of that stuff. Don't do business with this man.
And one other thing that he has had backfire on him completely is he thinks that because he's on these shows, he's now powerful enough to get through this bad press. And it's okay. I'm a content creator now. I can get through this. No offense to you, man in the library. I could get through this, not you. You're not that interesting.
This also got real. We don't have it all here, but it got real cringe where like the Omar show paid the guy something, the debt for like to try and, I don't know, get some and then someone else, then Fats is trying to collect it and going at home, and they like it's this circle like of like who actually owes the $3K now. So I mean, that's like, I mean, we're getting blood from a stone here. If anybody thinks they're seeing $1 from Man of the Library, I got some nice ocean property here in Michigan to sell you.
So Fats says this to end it. He says, based on these messages between Man of the Library and Tez Does It seems like it's going to be a while before Library completes the purchase of the $14 million island he was planning to buy. As of now, in order to be able to purchase the island, he would have to stiff an additional 4,666 people for $3K as well. Good way to end it off there.
I wouldn't put that past him.
No. I was gonna agree with you, Knish. There, I agree with you, Knish, because I was gonna say like why is anybody even taking bets anymore? But let's move on now. We have the chopping block. A few things that don't require full segments, but we can dive into a little bit over here with the chopping block. So first up, we have from Moneybag Yo, get to the window. It says, I joke around a lot here, but this post is a little more serious. Over the past, I'd say 6 months, 3 bettors I would talk to regularly have gone broke. The number one thing you can do as a bettor is stay in your lane. Never care how much someone else bets. Anybody here have experience seeing people go broke to gambling, like even like what you would think are sharper bettors going broke to gambling?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it happened to me earlier in my career when I wasn't as proper with bankroll management. I still
you mean like a week ago with the Cavs? You earlier, or you meant some time 5 years ago.
A few years ago, the Cavs would be number 2 for me. That's number 2 time. But look, as long as you stick to like your proper Kelly bankroll, or and you have sizing responsibly, and you manage downswings, you shouldn't go broke. This is a very good saying from Get the Money.
You can, in this business, you cannot like. I would equate it to like being in sales, where there will be times where you're in sales where things are really good, but you cannot then elevate your lifestyle to be living at that level. Where it's like if I might have a great 3 months, a great 6 months, but then if I try and like, oh, I'm going to take out now, I'm going to buy a house and buy a car and buy all this stuff, or like live at that level. When things come down, as they will due to variance, due to account loss, due to thing, you're going to go through swings, then all of a sudden you're in trouble. And I think people don't always prepare themselves for the changing dynamics. They think it's always going to be this good. I remember very, very, like it was yesterday, there's a PPH book called Metallic. And some years ago, I had at least on hand at the time, at least 50 Metallics. And overnight, 1 week, they said they basically did like a mass shutdown. Like, we're not taking action anymore. And then we tried to restart again. They did it again the next week. And so all of my earn from those 50 Metallics that I was used to, at least, I mean, you're talking, you turn over, even 5-10% in 50 Metallics per week. It was at least, 5,000. All of that was gone in 1 week. And if you're living at that level and you're not ready to, take that cushion, things can change in a heartbeat. And I think you see that whether it be loss of accounts, over betting, as Flupp said, mismanage your bankroll, things can change change very quickly. And if you're not, you can be people I've had, you can be a very talented, I know there's been some people that Rob has interviewed that, with things were going well, they were growing. And then, within 3 and 6 months, the guy's in witness protection. So, it happens in this industry quite a bit.
Next one we have here is from you, Knish. You said, I loved Jim Irsay, who was the former Colts owner who passed away this week. I loved Jim Irsay. Axe used Twitter and said crazy shit at times. Loved he didn't hide from his addictions or make excuses. I know he battled a ton of demons. In a world where almost every NFL owner is a mega rich, aloof billionaire, Irsay actually felt like one of us. Yeah, do you want to elaborate on that a little bit for us?
I mean, listen, I know people will say, like, yes, he was like a rich kid, but he was kind of, like, he was a bit of a degen. He battled alcohol and he would like tweet real things. He was always a big fan of his. He just felt like a real person, where a lot of these NFL owners, especially now, you have to be so mega rich to even get involved with these teams. It's usually like an investment conglomerate or someone that like you would never ever see. He just acted real. He acted authentic. We always talk about at this network is authenticity. He was authentic. He had plenty of flaws, but he was at least authentic. He's very charitable. I know he had me beg. Listen, the guy liked himself some alcohol, some pills, and whatever else he could get his hands on a bit too much. Also, I cannot believe he was only 65. If you would have told me yesterday he was 78, I would have believed you. I cannot believe that was a hard 65. That man, he did. He lived about 130
He lived 78 years at least in those 65.
Yeah. So, but I enjoyed him. I enjoyed him as part of the league. We'll miss his. I will say, back in like the original Twitter days, he was. There's some old. Irsay tweets. He kind of went away from that, the past few years. He got older, but
yeah,
there was a moment where he was all over it.
The early Twitter days were just people would say what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
People just tweet anything.
Couple of things. I thank Joey Knish for pointing this out, because in a world where, again, I don't think I can name one owner that was very similar to him. Look, he was a guy who was like in a rock band. And he was like a weightlifter at one point. And I also hate the whole like he's a rich kid thing. No offense. I don't know if people know this. You can't pick who family you're born into.
Yeah.
And no offense. I'm not saying I was or wasn't, but if I was born into money, I would absolutely make it well known. Yeah, I know you're jealous of me. What do you want me to do about it? But I think his family's riches came from like they had like a heating and air conditioning company that like got really big and everything. But yeah, I liked her say it's a good point by you. That was a rough 65, man. It seemed like he had been through a lot. I'm guessing in the 80s, he had a fun time, 70s, 80s.
80s, 90s.
Rest in peace to him.
Next topic, we have Jeff Benson kind of exposing GRP ahead of Bet Bash. GRP cold DM Jeff Benson and said, "Can you help me out with a hotel during Bet Bash 5?" And Benson airs it out and says, would you look at that? DMs you knew you were getting for $1,000. Yes, of course, George. Let me book you your airfare while we're at it.
This is what I'm talking about. Like this is where I get tired of this guy. It's like, yeah, why don't you ask him to contribute to your 401k and pay your mom's mortgage for the next 5 years? And, it's always a handout. Yeah.
No. I need Feinberg. I have to get when Feinberg does his summer tour here, that'll be broadcast on this network. What has George done for income for like the last 40 years? Like,
it's a great point, actually.
Well, I would love to know.
We will find out.
He held a job. Like, what does he do right now? Like, is he like in line next to man in the library in the first for like his mom's Social Security check?
No, I think it's simply. I think he probably has. I'm sure his mother did okay. His family. He doesn't pay rent. He doesn't have a mortgage payment. He gets all his food basically either cooked for him or he really has to come up.
Oh, he's at restaurants like 3 times a day. He's got to have some money. That's expensive.
He's not paying for bills and stuff.
Joey, you might not realize this, but GRP is a very well established and respected NFL bettor. If you were as good as him, then maybe.
Well, DJ did limit him.
You have this cube when you're beating the NFL, so maybe I'm doing it wrong.
I also want to say I appreciate Jeff Benson for not leaking my tweets, because I also asked Jeff for a free hotel room for Bet Bash 5.
Well, I think the only people I've ever heard him ask for stuff were GRP, BJ Covers, and man of the shit bag. So, I mean, that's the level of people doing this. No offense.
I feel ashamed about asking no, but I thought
he didn't expose you.
I do some volume there. Maybe he'll give me something. I'm looking for every edge I can get.
Hey, if you don't ask, you don't receive. All right, last thing here. This was brought up by John Govdi on Twitter. This is not the first person that has tagged me in a similar post of Cam Scattaboo. He says, is this the producer on Circle Back? He tagged you three plus Rob. And then I replied, it's the talk of the town, so I finally put the rumors to rest. Yes, this is me. So I think he looks a lot like me, but so many people have tagged this.
You can put on right
now.
Yeah,
let me do it. Let me grab my Giants hat.
This guy, when I didn't know, I obviously knew who Cam Scattaboo was. I didn't know what he looked like specifically, and I was like, holy shit, this guy is this guy, like, if you put on 20, 30 pounds, like, and, maybe, a little bit more, like, this is a dead ringer. This guy is a dead, like, if you two walked into a bar together, I'd be like, oh, it's Jacob and his older brother, Cam, that going out. Dead ringer here.
I agree.
If he was more famous, you could do, like, all the people have, like, Kardashian impersonators and stuff. You could walk around Toronto and give out Cam Scattaboo interviews. I
need him to win offensive rookie of the year or something.
Yeah, and he'd be signing stuff for little kids and doing a bit, getting $100 an hour to walk around Toronto and be Cam Scattaboo.
I said this and I'll say it again. Why is he dressed like Turtle from Entourage? I don't understand. Like,
this is quite the fit for just being out and about.
Yeah, why is he wearing it looks like it's 2005. Like, why is he dressed like that? I don't. Like, the other guy looks fine, but why? What's up with the jersey of his team he's on? I don't get that.
So I nicknamed the Giant purely by coincidence. I am also a Giants fan, and purely by coincidence, Cam Scattaboo was drafted by the Giants. I do need a new jersey because my Daniel Jones jersey, I don't think he's making it out of the closet ever again.
100%.
It's got to be Cam Scattaboo jersey. It might have to be the white and red 92 jersey that you see in the photo here. Let us know in the comments if you think if you see the resemblance a little bit. But I
also
think
do us a favor. Who do we look like? The rest of us.
Give your doppelganger for everybody in the chat here. I have seen.
I've gotten Clooney before, Ryan Reynolds a few times, but no, it's not as close as this.
I usually get Bobby Hill from King of the Hill.
Do you ever get any comparisons, Flup? Is he thinking?
Flup's over there jamming. He's trying to get his money back from the Cavs over here from OKC money line.
Oh, okay. Text says he can't hear us. Okay. It's the end of the show anyways. Let us know in the comments.
I see you guys' mouth moving. I literally can't hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
We're asking if you have anybody who's ever been pointed as a doppelganger for yourself.
No, he still doesn't got us.
Okay.
Fair enough.
We'll end it there. Let us know in the comments. Weird niche one, but there's a soccer player called Callum Patterson who used to play for Cardiff. I once saw a photo of him and thought it was a photo of me for about 20 seconds before I was like, where the hell is this photo from? So yeah, it happens, but this Cam Scattaboo is pretty crazy. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure you do smash that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're going to be back with the Tuesday crew, and there's going to be a lot to say after a week off, so make sure you don't miss out. We'll see you again next time for more from Circle Back, presented by Underdog.